Thank you, Kavita and Apurva. Thank you very much, Kavita, for your kind and generous words. I have been since my common. Really, even for a long time, all his writings, I was following his articles. I also read inside the prison his articles and all that. Suddenly one day, Vasanta came for Mulakat and told me that Neelabh is no more. I was shocked. It was, not to be thought about or expected such a young person would leave all of us at that time. And after that, Vasanta went back to Delhi and then she sent me all the people who wrote about him and some of his writings which I could not follow. I was very sad for a long time about him because as an activist, I read his articles since my early days. As I remember him now, one thing that I remember was like, as activists, we do a lot of fact findings. Since my college days, I was part of many fact finding teams on major issues of violations of human rights, civil democratic rights, army actions, and all that. Earlier, in late 80s and 90s, no senior journalist in English would pick up a fact-finding report and write an article. But it was, I think, as far as I remember, my experience goes, Neelabh used to pick up the fact-finding reports and write his column or an article. Because most of the fact-finding reports would never come to the mainstream media and print media. And slowly that trend got established. That's how I always remembered him, and he was always very critical of the governments, whichever was in power in those articles. So as a human rights defender, I followed him, his writings. He wrote about many Adivasi areas, what was happening at that time. He also wrote about northeastern region, Kashmir, and many other issues of importance. He himself was part of the democratic rights organizations, and as a journalist also, he did his duty to strengthen democracy and to see that the people's voices are represented in the mainstream media. So to remember him, there is nothing more that we can do than today to talk about, raise our voices against several things that are happening around us. In the last 10 years, we have seen all this, and what's going to happen to this country in the next 5 years is also, despite some kind of a change, the fears among the people we can see still. that, will there be a change? How long the dark times? How long the dark times will continue? These are the things that we have to do. Like in the last 10 years or so, there's kind of a nominal democracy, and there is a kind of, constitution, everything in place looks like, but nothing works. In emergency, there were at least what it was very clear that the constitution was suspended. Parts of the constitution was suspended. But now it is not suspended. The constitution is not there to function. So, and then no institution functions. It's only nominal. Their institutions are there. And, the laws made by the parliament, they are also not functional. Because, the rule of law is not there. If you think all of this, and these are the issues I read when Neelabh wrote about those issues. When I was in jail for a long time, the long days and nights, the only way I was getting the news from outside to see some kind of sparks, light, those who stood in the Supreme Court and argued against the grain, against all odds. Sometimes I used to lose hope, but again I used to get quickly back hope. And today I am honored to sit here and speak to you. Like certain kinds of sparks of hope that I used to get to survive in prison, like when a senior lawyer like Rajiv stood up in the court and argued, and several things that she took up, and Rajiv Bhawan and others. It was like a hope, like people are, looking up and see even the ordinary prisoner there, they recognize these faces. They don't know the persons, they don't know what it means. But how, in this kind of situation, how they are speaking like this is a great. Illiterate prisoners, when they are talk, I used to get such a hope. Today, today, as we remember Neelabh, I think we should raise our voices for Adivasis of this country, because they are the most targeted people today. I don't think, against the kind of situation we have to raise our voices against this kind of the target, and to finish them off or disperse them off from these areas. It's very important for us. And also, today we have to raise our voices collectively for the people of Palestine. Palestinian people are fighting for all of us, the kind of freedom that we want, the kind of humanity that we want to march forward. Today they represent all our hopes and aspirations, so we should firmly stand up with them and raise our voice. Today, we should stand for the Kashmiri people. So our voices for all these people is a very little thing that we can do and bring it to before the international community. This is, I mean, very important. And today, Vrindaji will bring many more voices of the political prisoners who suffered a lot in the last 10 years behind the bars. Mine is not the only voice that is to be brought before here. There are many, and I am very glad that Vrindaji will bring their voices, and I will also join her to add something through with my experiences. And so I was very happy to be here with Vrindaji, who actually was one of the sparks of hope for me in jail when there was entire the darkness enveloped, and when people were dying in front of my eyes during COVID periods, hundreds of prisoners, and that kind of a situation perhaps is historically very few moments which I saw that in front of you people are dying. Of course, outside also it happened, but inside the prison it was very so tragic because nobody was there to even not take care of a body of a prisoner, and nobody could receive, that kind of a situation. People who spoke, who stood before the centers of power and argued for the people, common people, that was a great hope. And today she is presenting the voices of the political prisoners. And just 1 minute I will say, and then I will not take much time between you and the other voices of political prisoners who suffered along with me. Political incarceration in India is is there since the British Raj and even before. And political incarceration continued after 1947, and even today, the political incarceration that is surpassed the kind of incarceration that happened during emergency. Because if you count, not just a few cases in front of us, but if you count hundreds of Adivasis who are in jails, it's in fact thousands, for political reasons, because, anti-displacement movements. Anti-displacement movement is a solid political reason for the governments to put them behind bars. And Dalits who fought for their self-respect behind bars. There are so many others, minorities, Muslim minorities particularly. And in any prison, they are overrepresented to their population. And it was the same about the Nagpur Central Prison. They are all incarcerated, imprisoned because of, not for anything else, crime or anything, the political reasons. So, all over India, you take any prison, there are political prisoners. But at the same time, we don't have the legal concept of political prisoners in this country, except perhaps in Bengal, West Bengal. So, to bring together the voices of political prisoners is very important. And it is also, synonymous with also the voices that we have to raise for the Adivasis, Kashmiris, Palestinians, and a number of other people who are suffering the most in these times. So I will join you in between whenever I feel I would like to say something. Uh, Vrindaji has an excellent presentation of bringing together a number of voices of political prisoners who suffered, and that is very important for us to listen to those voices today. I invite her to present, and it's very important for us to see in a holistic manner this political incarceration. Thank you.